So based on the purpose that I have thought through at the age of 23, 24, right? So that's when I made a point that we should start a company which will provide the opportunity to many of the youngsters who are struggling to get into IT, because I did not do my graduation in the usual way, but I still got into IT. I have become a director of SAP Technology Consulting in Cognizant, heading Europe.
Did you ever dream while pouring water in those catering halls? Did you ever think that this would be the reality today?
I never thought this would be the reality, because at that time my priority was to give early retirement to my father and mother. My father was a rickshaw man, so he used to do the rickshaw thing, and my mother used to be homemade.
Okay.
That's how they had their life, and that's how we grew in a small house, where we did not even have locks, basically. Be sincere to that. Put all your time as an investment to that. One day you will achieve it. One guy within our company, who was running a bida shop.
Okay.
Pawn bida shop in the streets. He is an IT engineer. Wow. And he's one of the specialists in the group now. We always, our next level juniors always go to him.
Hello, hi, what's up, NewsGlitz viewers? This is your Jatin, and today we're going to talk to Mr. Prakash Palani, sir. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Jatin. It's good to meet you today.
Yes, sir, same feeling. But yes, he is a man whose journey is a bit unusual, it's a bit inspiring, it's a mix of all. And with the product he has, with the situation he is now in his life, we're going to talk about all of this in this beautiful conversation that we're going to have. So, without wasting any time, let's dive into it. Before, opening about more about your product, I'd love to know about, your journey, from the beginning. Did you always want to be a guy who wanted, start something like this, or you had other plans?
Yeah. So if I have to go back in time, right, when I started my whole career, I started as a, how do you call it? You could have seen people roaming around in the marriage halls, as a catering unit guy, basically, who was putting water, each of the plates, basically.
Okay.
So that is how I started my career, and somehow I got into IT. Somebody gave me an opportunity. At some point in time, I was able to get into IT. Then I wanted to give that opportunity to many others like me who were struggling. So that's how the whole journey started, and that is the reason we started the Basis Cloud Solution. That's our purpose, so to say. What is our vision, what is our mission, and so on, right? For every company, instead of vision and mission, we have got purpose. So based on the purpose that I have thought through at the age of 23, 24, right? So that's when I made a point that we should start a company which will provide the opportunity to many of the youngsters who are struggling to get into IT, because I did not do my graduation in the usual way. I did my graduation in the distance education, but I still got into IT. I have become a director of SAP Technology Consulting in Cognizant, heading Europe. So I was able to make it to that level. So I always had a feeling that if we give an opportunity to the right person, they will be able to come up in their life. So that's the start of our journey.
Did you ever dream while pouring water in those catering halls? Did you ever think that this would be the reality today?
I never thought this would be the reality, because at that time my priority was to give early retirement to my father and mother. My father was a rickshaw man, so he used to do the rickshaw thing, and my mother used to be homemade.
Okay.
That's how they had their life, and that's how we grew in a small house, where we did not even have locks, basically. So that's the kind of house we used to live. So my priority at the time when I was doing this kind of job was to give them the early retirement. So that was there in my thought process. So I always wanted to come up in life and then do something good for my parents. That was my priority. But I made that purpose, or I made that dream true at the age of 23. So I made it possible. At the age of 18, I started this job, and within 5 years, I was able to climb up in the ladder, and I was able to give them the early retirement. But then once I have achieved that, then I wanted to see what else can we do. Then that's how this thing started.
Well, you said that your company doesn't have a vision, it has a purpose. I mean, I can clearly see why, because you've got such a good, you've experienced all, on ground. So you, like, who do you recruit, or how do you recruit? Is there a different process in your company, or is it just the same, engineers, or top 10 IIT and IIMs? So
We don't really look at creamy layer, or we don't really look at whether they are coming from engineering background, whether they are coming with 80% in 10th standard, 12th standard, and then first class in the graduation. We don't really look at any of those. We look at them as a person who can who has the capability to build their skills, who is sincere to their work. That is what we really look at. Our selection process is also slightly different. We don't call them for an interview on a day and then we speak to them for an hour and then we say you're selected or rejected. That is not something we do.
okay.
We actually speak to them upfront at least 2 weeks before, and we'll give them a topic. It could be any of the topic within the IT industry. And then we tell them, we'll come back in 2 weeks' time. So be prepared, to explain to us what you understood. Okay. So after 2 weeks, our team will reach out to them and understand what they would understand is they will not really look for whether they are able to answer it, to the dot, right? So that is not something we look for, because we totally understand. They might be coming from, we have people who have done BCom, but they are doing great in IT.
Okay.
We have got people who have done the BSc, but we have got people in diploma, who are doing good in IT, because they are coming into this for the first time. BCom guys, IT is completely new, but you are giving a topic. But what we really look at is, did they put their sincere effort in the 2 weeks? Were they committed to talk to us in this 2 weeks time? Were they, roaming around? Were they, really not concentrating? Let's take a look. Let's look at it when the people calls me after 2 weeks. If that kind of attitude we see, we really say no to them. But if you really see that they have put their heart and soul in the process, then they are in. We know if they are able to do that in the 2 weeks of time, we majority of our cases has been successful. There has been cases where they could not make it. That does happen, but the percentage is fairly small.
Well, I really love this new whole idea of skill can be something that can be easily taught, but then
yeah, we really believe we have the capability to shape somebody, because we have done it,
okay,
and we are doing it, and we know how to skill.
You yourself are the example, Prime.
So we truly believe that we can make that happen, provided we get that kind of people coming in who is willing to put their time. What I tell my people, whoever comes in the company, what I tell them is, if you want to achieve something, right, and to achieve something, if you have to do something, right, do that. Be sincere to that. Put all your time as an investment to that. One day you will achieve it. So that is the thing that I tell all my people. Whenever I have conversation with them, focus. Invest your time. That is what you have today. You don't have money, right? You don't have anything else, but you have time. If you be sincere to that, and if you are able to put the time, I have seen people growing. Who was one guy within our company, who was running a bida shop.
Okay.
Pawn bida shop in the streets. He is an IT engineer today, and he is one of the specialists in the group now. Our next level juniors always go to him. So like I said, there's a BCom graduate, who is really doing a great job. So we truly.
Yeah, I should reframe the whole interview and say he's Raghuvaram from VIP, who's handling and recruiting all these youngsters and people who have like different backgrounds. But don't you think, in the retrospective, that it might hinder them in the future, that without any degree you're giving them job and then they become specializations? Do they have the future after leaving your company?
It's we don't so far, but the idea is actually on. I have already told them recruit somebody who's already doing the distance education. We are not redirecting them from the education, right? We recommend them to go through that graduation and then complete it. And so far, whomever we have graduated, they have done the graduation, right? They have a basic degree, like the way I got into IT. When I have got my experience, if you take a look at large companies, if you don't have 80%, even though you are experienced, if you don't have that 80%, if you don't have the regular degree, it is not easy to get in. But I managed to get in because of my skill, because of my experience, because they truly believe that this guy can do it, right? When you have skills, everything else goes away.
Rules bend.
Everything rules will be bent, because I told them when I appeared for the interview, the first thing I told them is, don't look at my degree, don't look at my graduation. If you're going to look at it, and if you're going to question me around just to reduce the salary, or just to negotiate on the salary, let's stop it here. That was my first thing. Then throughout the process, they did not open it, because they said, okay, let's have an interview, and if we see you are a fit, then we'll discuss about it.
Talking about your product, so where did that inspiration? Because there are a lot of options you can do. It's like an ocean, right? IT sector. So what made you choose clouding systems, or that, because that's the future? Do you feel, or that has more scope? Why did you choose this platform or this idea?
So we are originally SAP guys. When we started our journey into IT industry, because I am into SAP for almost 22 years now.
Okay, SAP, for those who don't know.
For SAP is basically, if you take a look at any of the Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000 globally, or even if you look at all the conglomerates in India, they would be running SAP. That's the enterprise resource planning application, which basically takes care of your sales process, finance process, production planning,
tickets.
Any of the to be able to run your company efficiently, this application is needed, and they are the world number one, or leader in terms of ERP softwares. Okay. And that is the background I have. That is where I started my life, so to say, right? So that's our original thing. But over a period, SAP also transformed themselves to become a cloud company, or to be able to support the latest transformation that has been happening. So if you take a look at like 10-15 years ago, not even 10-15 years ago, 6-7 years ago, if you take a look at it, any of the SAP customers, they used to run their systems on their premise. If you go to any of the large companies, they would have some room or some floor that is dedicated to a data center, where they used to have the servers, where they used to have the people, AC, security, whatever, right? So that is needed to be able to run this application. But cloud came in 2016, 2014, 15 is when SAP also started supporting the cloud, like Microsoft Azure or AWS, or the other cloud providers. So that's when it was possible for us to move the systems, like I said, from the data centers, from the on-premise, from your own building, to move into cloud. So that was the tipping point for us to move into cloud and build our own product, because we realized moving into cloud doesn't mean you will be able to get the cloud computing benefit just like that. If you need to have that benefits realized, you need to have a solution like the way we have built Symphony, which will automate the entire process. Cloud originally, when it came, people said, if you need a virtual machine somewhere at some point in time, you can click a button, you can get the virtual machine. But when you have an application like SAP, which is like robust application, you cannot get it with a click of a button. 4 years ago, it was not possible. Today, it is possible with Symphony. So that is what we do. We make the transformation journey smooth. If somebody needs to move from on-premise to cloud, with Symphony we are able to move that from on-premise to cloud with a click of a button. Not just moving it, but also operating it, making sure that it works well. You are able to bring in automation like stopping, starting, and so on. All that capability that we have built within Symphony. That is why we have got large customers like AB InBev, who is world number 1 brewery. Heineken, world number 2 brewery. There's such companies are leveraging our solution. That is predominantly because it brings them the flexibility and scalability when they host their SAP systems on public cloud.
It's definitely, at one point of time, many people wouldn't have thought that this would be reality, but you were one of the few guys, like just how when internet came, this is something that from hard drive to softwares, online softwares, that was the transition. That was something you foreseen.
When we started our company's journey towards cloud transformation, we made some of the conscious decisions. One of the conscious decisions is to build a product, because if I go and tell somebody that I have a great service company that is coming from India, or I've got a lot of capability, then it's not going to be easy for such a large companies like multi-billion-dollar companies to
Silicon
be able
Valley.
to trust you. Right?
Okay.
So if they have to trust you, you'll have to show the capability. How do we show our capability? Product was the first choice for us. So let's build. We have got so much of experience, knowledge that we have gained over a period. Let's bring that knowledge and build it as a product and showcase this is why you need to choose BCS. And that is how when we started also, we ourselves thought we will not get multi-billion dollar companies. We always thought probably 500 million revenue or less than that. That's the sized customer we may get, considering our size, because you are very small. If you have to serve them, they might have a lot of worries, like you are a small company, how much is your revenue, what if you sell your company and run away, right? So that kind of questions will eventually will come in such large companies. But the reality was different. When we got into market, we got multi-billion dollar companies to be our customers.
To start off. Okay.
So that's how the power of product, the power of idea. So that is also the suggestion, or I would give to anybody who's aspiring. So your idea will take you anywhere.
When you found your idea, did anyone be like, "What idea is this? This won't work in the real world. It's just it sounds good, but it's not going to work."
They did not really think that this is going to work. That is something I could.
Did anyone demotivate you or something like that?
It happened. Why are you investing in this? Because at some point in time, these cloud providers will bring their own solution, or SAP themselves might bring their own solutions. Why do you want to really invest in this, right? But I took that as a challenge. But I realized, this is going to happen. This is something you cannot avoid in future. So that is what we realized in 2016-17, and we started building this since then. Today, it is globally. We have customers in Australia. We have customers in Brazil. We have customers in Europe. We have customers in India. We have customers who are leveraging Symphony. Symphony as a full stack cloud management platform which automates the complete stack. That is where we are different.
Now, with all these of automation and all coming in, robots taking over, AI powered systems and all taking over, do you feel engineering, people should opt for engineering and still study engineering? Do you think it has a future, or will just, the robotic things will take over human work and, they just be, dominate, and there won't be manpower left? So do you think at today's, is there a scope for engineering and all?
See, that human brains will always be needed, right? So because, these kind of robots or any of the automation can only do the repetitive work, right? If for the repetitive work, you can bring in this kind of automation. If I have to do the same thing again and again based on step 1, step 2, step 3, then Symphony can be helpful. Our engineers, what they are doing is they are building Symphony, but also when there is for example, when there is a assessment that needs to be done, when there is an architectural thing that needs to be done, right? When there is an incident which needs to you need to have a human brain to be able to understand, and it is not very easy to bring in artificial intelligence everywhere, right? So it will take time, but this kind of it cannot really replace human brains, right? So that is something you will continue to have. There will be automation that is coming in. There will be a lot of things that is getting automated, but I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of other areas in which our engineers can play a significant role.
Okay. Do you think there is something groundbreaking upcoming in the engineering IT business? It will be the next big thing. What do you think it is?
That is something.
If I tell you, it won't be a big thing.
No, there are a lot of things that is happening. We'll have to wait and watch, right? Be it a Bitcoin or be it a blockchain and so on, right? So those are the technologies. I've been seeing it since 2016-17. Still, it's in the early stages. But those are the groundbreaking technologies might come in.
And Bitcoin, do you think it will survive? It's going through a massive dip. Do you think it will come up?
No, I did not really believe in it.
From the beginning.
From the beginning, I did not really believe in it. But there are, I'm not saying it is good or bad. I mean, depending upon your situation, people try it. If it works, it works. It doesn't work, right?
So yeah, what is your future plan with your company? Because until this point, you've fought a lot, you've been through a lot, you've made people come into your business, you've shown them the path. So what is your path ahead?
Our path ahead is basically expanding into other areas. We are currently specialized in one particular technology, right? So we want to expand into our other areas. but I also want to create entrepreneurship within the company. When we get into the other side of services or technology, we will have simple. We will have our guys who is coming from this kind of background, from a rural background, or from the struggling background. So they are going to play the role of CTO and CMO, and they will take care of that particular organization. Where I would, and my other leadership would be supporting them from the outside to ensure they are able to grow up in that space. So that's our plan.
And entrepreneurship is already becoming a trend now. Everyone wants to start their own company, startup. But yeah, I guess this is the only company where they're not training engineers to become more capable engineers. They are shifting or transforming engineers into entrepreneurs.
That is something we are going to try. We have not done it, but we have already initiated one process where some of our guys, they are not even engineers. So they are going to be the CTO, and I'm pretty sure they are capable of running the show.
I really like the fact that skill is something that can be taught, but you need to just have the drive and the thing to learn that cannot be instilled. That I really loved about
you need to have the drive, and you need to have the circumstances. You need to have the people around you to support it. Our whole organization, if you take a look around, any of our guys or girls, they would be very willingly to to come forward and provide whatever support that is needed for the next generation of people coming in. So that is what you would see. That kind of a sincere effort that they will be putting in their day to day. You will see that happening.
As you said, off the record, there are some competitors in the SAP field, right? So how are you equipping yourself day to day basis? How are you making better yourself than them, or how do you assess that situation?
Competition will always be there, right? I mean, I always believe that there is a space for everyone, right? There will be a space for if just because there are hundreds of competition, I will not be able to survive. You will still be able to survive, but like you asked, right? I mean, what is missing? We need to keep adding value to the customer. That is our motivation, right? So we may not be giving for some customer the value might be different, for some customers the value might be different. So we need to keep looking at the opportunities to create values. As long as you are able to create create the value for your customers, you will still be relevant in your space. So you keep looking for how you can add value to your customer. That is what I also tell our guys or girls. Take a look at in your day-to-day life, whatever you're doing. Take a look around, because every day whatever you're doing, that is where that value lies.
Exactly.
Right. So then bring that idea. Maybe you may not be capable of taking that value into automating with Symphony, but that value only you can tell us, because you are sitting next to the customer or you're talking to the customers on a daily basis. So see the gaps where you think we can add value to the customer. Bring that on board, and you keep building. I mean, our development team, we've got a fantastic development team. They will jump in and then bring that value forward.
Yeah, solving people's problem is the next big thing, and that's how you can also sustain, earn a lot. So yeah, what would your advice be to conclude the whole conversation? What would your advice be to those 20-odd-year-olds who are still confused, engineering, not engineering? What would your advice be to them?
My advice is always something, if you want to, I already explained it, right? If you want to become something, if you know that, if you do this, you will become whatever you want it to be. Focus on it, do it, put your effort, put your
instead
time
of just planning
as an investment. Yeah, get into the action. That is what I would say. Instead of just thinking about it and talking about it, get into an action. You have all the time at the age of 20, 21, that is the age in which you have time for yourself. You have time for yourself, right? Although you might have your own things other way around, but once you get married and so on, right, your time gets shrinked because you need to take care of
and the responsibilities.
Responsibility grows. But at this age, the time is yours, and you've got so much of time, and time is the one thing that can really change your life. Invest time in whatever you wanted to do. That will take you to the places.
So yeah, where is BCS set up, and where do you guys work from? India or somewhere else?
We are located in 3 different regions. One is Europe. I am based out of basically Netherlands. I live in Amsterdam with my family, with my wife and 2 daughters. And Chennai is my hometown, or the birthplace, so to say. So So that is where our delivery center, and Australia is one other region where we are doing this operation. So recently we also started in US and UK. So at the moment we are operating it in 5 different locations. The large portion of the team is in India, and second large is Netherlands, third large is
So you outsource from India your employees or from those areas?
No, we actually the people I told, right? Those are the guys and girls who are coming. Already we got 2 of our guys from Chennai who came from such a background. Now they are in Netherlands with me. I am here on a vacation, so we are able to meet as part of the session.
But yeah, what led to that decision of you moving out of the country?
That is one of the reason I wanted to build myself. Because like I said, I came from the corporation school with the Tamil medium. Because of the family reasons, I had to start my career in such a fashion, right? So when I started my first job, I was not really fluent enough in English. I was not this confident to be able to talk to somebody. I was not this confident to be able to present myself. If I knew that I'm going to start a company and I'll have to build myself, so I always thought getting there, talking to various people would help me build that confidence, would help me build the communication skills that I need to be able to run the company. If I have to run a company with this size, I should be in a position to be in front and lead it, right? Lead it from the front. So for that reason, I made a point that I need to be there for in outside of India, because I know from Chennai it is possible, but most of the time even in our office we converse in Tamil.
Okay.
Right, so that really gave me a lot of confidence and the exposure. Talking to people, talking to various people coming from various backgrounds. So that really helped me, and that was also a conscious decision, because starting the startup has been there in my cards since I was 23, 24, right? So I had to work on that plan. As part of the plan, I moved into Netherlands.
I also read a report or something where BCS is doing a lot of donations with the income. You put some light on that. Take us to that.
So BCS, like we always do within the company, creating the opportunities. Now we are also looking at creating our own foundation, and to be able to support, especially the NEET is one area where we want to focus, because NEET is coming in, but the guys or girls coming from the corporation school or government school or rural school, they need to compete with the people coming from the how do you say it, middle class and upper class and so on, right? So to be able to give them, we have been thinking of creating a platform which will give them the coaching, because the technology is there. We know how to handle the technology. Why don't we create value using the technology for these people? So we are planning to launch NEET coaching with online. We will make all the investment that is needed. We will bring students from this background, and we'll coach them, and we will make them ready for their future. So that is something we are currently working on, and we'll make it happen most probably this year or early next year. We will make that happen.
Thank you. It was a really, really great conversation. As a 22-year-old, I can also relate and use my time effectively, and so can you. So thank you for watching till the end. Until next time, signing off, yours, Jatin.
Thank you, Jatin.